we have to have confidence in ourselves. Like, we've done all this work. Like, we want to win finals and win a premiership.
What have you had to sacrifice to be able to do two sports? Because it's not like you're just doing one.
Probably school friends. Yeah, I'd be studying like all the time and then would never ever catch up with anyone.
What happens if Fever come along and go, we want to sign you next season, and you've got to say no to footy?
Yeah, I've thought about that.
This podcast is brought to you by Woodside Energy, helping young players develop and grow as the official sponsor of the Fremantle Dockers Next Generation Academy. Woodside Energy, supporting local footy. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Dubya. I'm Caitlin Bassett and with me is Rosie Deegan, and our guest this week, well, she is quite the superstar. It's Georgie Cleaver from the West Coast Eagles, and we get to sit down and have a chat with her about the reality and the sacrifices she's had to make while juggling both elite codes in netball and football. We also put the hard word on her and ask her if push came to shove, which one she would choose. And she gives us some insight on the winning culture and what it's been like at the Eagles under Daisy Pearce this season. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. Please welcome Georgie Cleaver.
Thank you for having me on.
So first year of AFLW, how are you finding it?
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. I think you always dream about playing your first game and having a good first season. I think we've started pretty well, and it's just unreal to be surrounded by amazing women and playing alongside them.
I think you're one of the few athletes that are still probably playing both netball and footy. How are you managing that? Can you tell us, how logistically does this work for you on a weekly basis?
Yeah, at the moment it's pretty easy because it's just footy, and then later in the year, netball starts up in like November or October as well. So probably just do footy until then, and then sort of see where my schedule works out. And it's good that Eagles and Fever both communicate to work out when I can go to trainings. But it's sort of having priorities, so knowing what is important at the time, but also knowing that like footy and netball seasons are actually completely different at the moment. So don't have to worry about netball and then go back to do it later in the year.
Do you have priorities? Have you picked a sport yet that's your number one, or are you still kind of got a toe in both?
Yeah, I think still dipping my toes in both. I can't really pick at the moment, and no club has told me, or no sport has told me that I can't do both. So I'm just like, why not? Just do both if no one's told me I can't.
I mean, if the seasons don't clash, right?
Exactly, yeah. Until if AFLW gets changed, which it could, then...
Yeah.
What happens if you have conflicting games? Because I understand before the season started for AFLW, you were actually away in Fiji playing netball for the Australian 19s. Like, if there's a game on the same day or trainings clash on the same day, how do you manage that? Yeah,
normally would speak to the coaches, and if it's like I'm missing one Eagles and one netball, then they're okay. But if I'm missing two, then they sort of ask more questions. So it's sort of seeing exactly week by week which ones I am missing and which ones. Sometimes I can do two in one day because they're different times, which works out pretty well. Obviously, get a bit tired.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's the body go with two in one day?
Wait, so what does a 2 session in one day look like for you?
It'll be because sometimes netball, they go really early, so it'll be the 6:30 a.m. ones. So that's obviously...
A core work session?
Yeah, court work. And then could gym after. But I'll usually go to that and then I'll come home and have a quick nap. Or actually 3-hour nap, pretty long one.
That's not a quick nap.
No, you're in REM. You're deep in sleep there. You're not quick napping.
So I'll have a nap then, probably eat some food and then sort of get up, get ready for footy. But I think I don't really get that tired because it's sort of normal. I've always done 2 even. Yeah.
Useful.
What was it like for you? Because when you first signed for the Eagles, that was a couple of years ago. You were still cross-coding, but things have changed dramatically, I guess, in the professionalism of sport since then, hasn't it, Rosie?
Well, see, basketball and footy were kind of clashing. So there was with the AFLW, they're moving the season around a lot. And we had links discussing with Eagles, and they just couldn't find a happy equilibrium. Because basketball was quite...
They need you there,
every session. Otherwise, you're slipping down the pecking order.
Yeah.
And basketball, I don't know we were talking about. I don't know how netball Australia is, but basketball Australia, love them. Just think they won't be listening to this. But
what are you
they're
talking about?
quite
Lauren Jackson's
strict.
my biggest fan.
Yeah, right. Lauren Jackson just sees another tall person. She's like, oh,
we're all friends. We don't know each other. We communicate.
Yeah, there's a tall group of people. Are you tall? How tall are you?
6 foot.
You're considered tall in football, aren't you?
I'm so tall in footy.
Football,
Netball,
they're
I'm
so
tiny.
small.
It's so weird. At footy, everyone's so short, and I'm
well, you'd be almost considered rock in footy, right?
Yeah,
you
I'm
dabble in that.
Yeah, rock, pretty much. So
That's ridiculous.
And then people are like, oh, you must be pretty normal height at footy. I'm like, no, I'm actually like huge. And the netball, I'm like, they can't even put me GS anymore. I have to be WA. And I'm like, what?
I'm a point guard in basketball, and I go to footy, and they're like,
Right.
full forward rock. I'm like, no, I'm genuinely been raised as like the tiny kid.
Yeah.
Like we got like 6'5" girls just stomping around.
Does netball change the way you play footy? Like I listened to something and you were saying like, because you can tackle obviously in football. When you go back to netball, do you have to tell yourself like, no, I'm playing netball. I can't tackle. I can't be rough. Would you consider becoming a defender because that's probably more accepted?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think I am like called like a rough player at netball and do get called for a lot of contacts, but because I'm a attacker, I don't really get called for that much, which is good. So
and you're a shooter, so
you
we
can get
never
away
in the
with
wrong.
anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You can give a push and they don't care. Umpires can't see it.
Netball, such a contact sport you guys play.
Did you have to learn how to tackle? Because that's not something you get taught at netball, I guess. Like do you talk much about tackling? Because we've seen some tackles this year in AFLW where players have been, they've missed games because of it, they've had suspensions and things like that. Do you discuss much tackle?
Yeah, so obviously I've been playing Oz kick, so sort of know how to just wrap up. But then like this year at Eagles now we've got a tackling coach. He's from Western Force.
Yeah, right.
So he does heaps of work with like, I actually really love like wrestling and like grappling stuff. So that's really fun. So we get to learn like techniques.
Rugby players are excellent at getting their head out of the way. Because that's like the criticism of AFL people, that you kind of get your head near it. And it's like a lot of concussions. And then so it's like rugby players are just so good at like dropping their head out of it, and then it's just shoulder tackles.
But rugby players can like tackle like at the ankles or like get them high as well. So that's like
imagine if footy someone just can leg tap you. You just be in a bad way.
That's the funniest thing I think when I watch Verity play. She still is like a traditional netballer in that she gets the ball and she runs, and I'm like, watch out behind you. They're coming to get you. When you were growing up, though, did you did Oz kick, so you played both sports. You played a lot of different sports. How did you choose? Why footy? Why netball? What drew you towards those two?
Yeah, so I was doing basketball, footy, and netball.
Yeah. What happened to basketball? Why did that drop off the radar?
Well, just like the environment wasn't very good.
It's pretty,
It's pretty beautiful. It's pretty
political
so political.
and brutal.
If you don't have like a good last name as well, they don't really like you.
My dad used to, for like when the Australian scouts were coming around, would send my brother, who looks really old, one of my foster brothers. He looked really old. He had a beard, but he was 6'9". So he'd come pick me up. So then the scouts would be like, "Oh, she's got a tall dad," because I was like, I was younger. She's gonna grow up. And then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, so your dad's like what, 6'8", 6'9"?" I was like this. My dad's like 5'11", and I'm like this. Yeah. They're like, "Oh, we'll have you."
So you never thought like
strategy?
Because I assume basketball, and one of the reasons why that's so attractive to you, Rosie, is because you could go to the Olympics, you can play in the States. Yeah. Obviously, netball and football, they're codes that are just really here in Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that ever cross your mind?
I always thought like, college would be so fun. I always like thought ideally like that'd be sick, but then like I think sort of staying in Australia don't really care about that much anymore. But like difference between footy and netball is netball you can travel and you can play for your country, so that sort of sets them apart really.
It is the playing for your country is something you can't let go. Like I can see right? Like I can't let basketball go simply on the fact that I think like representing Australia, I mean you get it, but like representing Australia on a national level is like, it's like, I don't mean like to be patriotic or sound like American, but it is like, there's a bit of pride.
In an accent.
I know, right?
You pick it up.
But I do get that 100%. I was never good at multiple codes, so I'd never had that struggle. But I guess as well, that lure of money would be huge. So playing for Australia is great, but you're not getting paid much money to play netball for Australia.
Yeah.
The money aspect, the financial aspect of playing a code like AFLW, which is really taking off, like, is that a big factor in it too?
Yeah, I think people always say, like, when I say, like, I want to play for my country, like, that's ideal, like, my dream. Like, you sort of get drafted and it's sort of, I feel like it's sort of it. You know, you can make, like, all Australian and whatnot. But I think people say, what about the money? Like, netball's not as good as footy. But honestly, for me, I'm not, like, that fussed. Like, I think I can probably come back to footy, but I think when there's an opportunity to play for your country, you take that.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying that. That's what I'm talking about. But because it's like, yeah, you can't give up, like, wearing the flag and stuff.
But AFLW is getting to the stage where it's no longer just taking all these cross-coding athletes, like the skill and what you're seeing.
The ones coming through.
Exactly.
Oh, and they've been playing since they're, like, younger, like, since they're, like, 4.
Yeah.
Do you feel the pressure to develop, like, your kicking skills and things like that because they're all of a sudden just growing?
I think so, yeah. But I know that the good thing about being so tall is that sort of sets me apart as well.
Just my pure height.
like especially now, like, there's not many people that are athletic and tall that don't come from other sports as well. So they think,
I wonder what AFL just doesn't attract tall people. Like AFLW right now.
Tall people can't run
Yeah, why
generally.
don't
Like when you can find a tall person that runs, like if I look at a Karakonen in netball, holy moly, like I was always told as a tall, myself, Susan Furman, like other talls, oh, well, you're tall, so stand still and we'll get the ball to you.
Yeah.
Whereas now, 100%, I got yelled at if I ran around too much.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like now it's like if you're tall and you can move,
that's like
It's
you're
insane.
a huge threat. And then if you can jump, you're like a triple
Yeah.
threat.
Exactly.
When it comes to positioning, so netball, obviously you're a goal shooter. You stay down that end of the court,
Yeah.
obviously, because it's the best. In
Yeah.
AFL, though, I've seen you play a few different roles.
Yeah.
What do you like? What's harder? I always say, like, in netball, I think wing defence is the hardest position. What's the hardest position in footy?
Yeah, I got drafted as a ruck forward. I didn't really have a love for ruck, but now that it's
Why not? What's wrong with ruck?
you just get shut there because you're tall.
You just get like knee to your chest every time.
Literally,
Yeah.
I know. But I sort of liked it now because they treated me as like an extra midfielder, which I quite like to be around the ball. Whereas when I was like deep forward, I was sort of like away from the ball, and I was like, you have to let them bring it to you. Where I was like, I want to win it for myself.
Yeah.
Which is why now that I've played back, I'm like, oh my god, like knowing what your role is to just stick on this person, not let them get the ball and win it yourself is like I love that.
So you
Oh, so
like
you're
playing in
back?
back?
Yeah, I like back.
Wow.
Which is so weird because I'm not very good at defending a netball.
It's because defending in netball is really hard. Although I can imagine defending in football is way harder because you have so much space. And I guess being a tall person in netball, you've got a big wingspan. It is easier to defend because if you're out of position, you can just chuck a hand out and normally get a tip. But it's not like that in footy.
Exactly. But in footy, I think because you have so much space, you can sort of come off the body and then I could probably beat them on like a sprint. Whereas netball, it's like if you're off them, they get in it straight away. So that's really the only difference. But yeah.
I was say backline. That's an unpopular opinion. Everyone loves to
really?
kick goals these days.
Yeah, no, I can't really kick. I'm not very good. I actually had a set shot.
I saw that. I
we-
was going to
yeah.
bring it up.
Oh my
We
God,
put it.
guys.
We, no,
Oh my
no,
God,
we put
I'm
it in.
so
Seabass put it in the WhatsApp and was like, "Should we stitch it
I
up
didn't
here?"
want to because I feel mean, and obviously I can't kick a football, so I'm not one to judge. But I remember I was watching that game and I was like, "Yeah, Georgie, you can kick a goal." And then I was looking back and I was like, "Oh, where's the note for a behind or something?"
Hell on the
There was
full.
nothing. Is that like doing an airball in netball?
Oh.
Is that like shooting an airball?
No, getting blocked.
Oh, yeah, blocked.
Probably.
Yeah,
That's
getting
really
blocked.
embarrassing.
Rosie gave me crap last week because I talked about shooting airballs, and thinking back, we don't have a backboard.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I understand that. But I'm saying yours,
airball's worse for you
You got
guys.
that little dome thing that's really close.
It's called the circle, but anyway.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because it's a semicircle. Right, so reel it in, and then it's like you got the dome thing, and that's not that far away from the ring, right? Ish, compared to the 3-point line.
Yeah, but if you're throwing it above your head, it's a lot harder to get power.
Why can't you just shoot normal like
Because then
us?
you'll get blocked.
Because the defender's going to put their hand
But then they
in.
go
No.
obstruction.
No.
Stand
Imagine
aside.
if I hold the ball here, and I did shooting coaching last week, so this is exactly what I told the 8-year-old kids. If I start with the ball down here, it's closer to the defender's
What if you
hand.
just
but
release
if I
it-
hold the ball up here, it's so much further away from there.
But then there's like, or you just don't generate power. Is that it?
You've got to use your
You
legs.
got to bend your legs, bend your knees.
That's where the power comes from.
But how come I can get a shot off in basketball?
Because you can use your arms more.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't I get blocked every time I shoot in basketball if it's not above my head? I'm just saying.
Yeah, but then they'll be further than 3 feet, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Nah, they're defending you on the ball. They can like.
Yeah, then you
can
just
take a step.
them.
Oh, you're saying I'm doing a step
Yeah,
back,
you are.
3-point fadeaway. Like, every shot.
Well,
I'm
not
taking.
this one
Everyone.
because she gets her ankles broken all the time playing basketball,
Oh,
apparently.
embarrassing.
Yeah, I'll show you it after it. It's got
Yeah,
it's
I
got
wanna see it now.
it's got 3 million views, and they did like another edit on top of it and put me on a surfboard. For the listeners who don't understand, I got my ankles broken against Duke women's basketball, who have a total of probably like 100,000 followers, and then ESPN picked it up and they had 17. I'm not even joking. Wait till you see it. 17. If you can put it in the YouTube video, please do. 17 different camera angles
What?
of me getting my ankles broken by
When you
this
talk
girl.
about getting your ankles broken, though, you're not physically talking about your ankles
Getting
snapping.
snapped. No, it's like in basketball they refer to it if like someone does like a crossover or something and
you
you
get
fall.
tripped.
And
It's
you
like
fall
getting
as a
stepped,
result.
like-
It's okay, yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they put it of me falling into like the Beyonce like surfboard, grounding on that wood. Me falling, and they put me onto a surfboard on a wave.
Surfboard. That's good attitude.
Yeah, no, really good. Yeah, loved
Georgie,
it.
you spoke a little bit about culture before and potentially basketball culture and why you shied away from that sport. What's it been like coming into AFLW and I guess I want to say winning culture in particular? Because in netball, the Australian team's quite successful and all the teams that you've played for growing up have been quite successful. What was it like coming into AFLW and coming into the Eagles who weren't particularly successful before you arrived? Was there much talk about that in the environment?
Yeah, a little bit. I think especially coming to the game when we could have won 2 in a row, they were sort of like, is everyone scared of that? We have never won 2 in a row. But Daisy was really good about that, being like, obviously she came from a good winning side, Demons. So she was just like, no, girls, like, we have to have confidence in ourselves. Like, we've done all this work. Like, we've already won 1 game. Like, why can't we not do it again? So that really helped us. And, like, I never thought that we were, obviously they'd not done very well in the past years, but I never thought, like, we were going to do that again. I thought, like, we actually look good this season. And obviously Daisy has helped a lot to get us to where we are.
Get the home improvement the whole country is talking about. Complete Home Filtration. A water filter for the whole home that means you'll experience not only better tasting drinking water, but also healthier skin and hair, reduce scale on shower screens, prolong the lifespan of your appliances, and so much more. Complete Home Filtration has tens of thousands of happy customers, and you'll be raving about your water from the first drop. Visit CompleteHomeFiltration.com.au now and book your free in-home consultation today. That's CompleteHomeFiltration.com.au. It's so weird when you have players around you that are used to losing, I guess. I can remember my very first year with the Perth Orioles. This was well back in the day. And I was rooming with the captain and we won our first game away and she was so excited and I was like, why are you so pumped? She's like, we didn't win any games last year. And I was just used to winning, playing state league. And I was just like, as if we wouldn't win. Like, it's just,
why
it's
are you expecting not to win?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a
And then
different
people
mindset.
sort of think like, oh, we've won 2 or we've won 3 now. Like I'm content with that. I'm like, no.
Yeah, like
do you
best
not
season ever.
Yeah, do you not just want to win every single game from now on? Like, but I think now that everyone's sort of on the same track that we are, like we want to win finals. I mean, want to make the grand final, so win a premiership.
Before you were drafted, you used to idolise like a Taylor Harris. Now that you're playing in the competition, you've played against some of these people that you used to idolise. Like, who have you just been like pinch me moment, or is there anyone? Have you changed now? Because you've got some stars in your team that you're playing alongside as well. Like Ella Roberts has been pretty bloody impressive so far this season.
Yeah, my debut was against Katie Brennan. That was like, because obviously I'd been a forward, so I've always idolised her as like her and Taylor. So when I was like playing back and I was like, you never think that's going to happen for your first game. So that was like unreal and sort of like I played pretty well on her and like she didn't score anything. So I thought, oh,
Flex
like,
it.
Take that scalp. Yeah,
girl.
girl.
Flex it.
Yeah.
so I was
And then
like-
did you get a selfie with her afterwards?
No, actually I didn't. But I found
Nice.
a photo. It was like back in like 20, it would have been some one of the AFL Grand Finals I was at, and I got a photo with her. She played for Bulldogs at the time. I sent it to her the other day, and she's like, "We need to get a selfie next time and compare the two."
That's adorable. The glow
Just
up.
as long as you guys win.
Hey,
Just as long as you beat them again.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if we even get to verse them again,
Probably
Well,
in
they're top 8
probably
now.
in the grand final
Yeah,
when you guys
definitely.
get there.
yeah, and then we beat them.
I've got it exactly. Yeah, and you win the grand final, and you're the Norm Smith or the equivalent.
Yeah, I know, right? What happens if Fever come along and go, we want to sign you next season and you've got to say no to footy?
Yeah, I've thought about that.
The age-old question. Like,
Yeah.
Obviously not next year because they've already signed their 10. But yeah, I don't know. I think like netball is so hard to get into. Obviously, only having 10 list spots. So I always thought if I ever got the opportunity anywhere for netball, I think I would sort of jump on that train and know that obviously footy is getting a lot better and more quality, high quality. So I would have to fight my way back into footy if I ever did end my netball career. But I think, yeah, taking the opportunity because there's only the 10 spots and the 4 or 6 training partners, and then, getting to play for my country if I did make it that far would be.
she gets it.
Being a
God.
training partner, I was explaining to Rosie, like, you don't get paid anything. Well, you get paid basically nothing. You go to every training session, don't you? Like,
Yeah.
it's a pretty hard gig being a training partner, but you want to be there because you know if something happens, they're going to turn to you first, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, like you do everything they're doing. It's like, oh, but I'm not getting the recognition that they are. And even if you train, like you might train so well, but it's sort of like, they'll say, oh, good training, but it's like, oh, but I can't get my opportunity because like I'm not on the list. So yeah, I think like knowing that if you keep on showing up and giving everything that one time, they'll get an injury or bloody COVID or something. you could get pulled up.
Okay, so you can get called up. So it's like you're like almost like
yeah,
always
but then also
emergencies.
if you're not even a training partner, you can also get called out.
This is
So
true.
That's
Yeah.
just confusing.
All right. Well,
Can you do the same program? So, like, if you've got your gym program for footy, can you do the same gym program for netball? Because I mean, you would be working on the same thing: explosive power, speed. Like, is it quite similar, those two programs?
Yeah, the gym programs are pretty similar. It's just that depending on, like, right now I've got both in my phone, but obviously netball's not in season, so it's more like lifting heavy and like sort of off season stuff. Yeah, but footy's like nice at the moment, like plyos and like fun stuff. So I'd prefer to do that at the moment.
I love in-season lifting. It's like my favourite thing.
So
Just go
good,
roll around and stretch some, couple jumps.
Do you do primers before an AFL game?
Yeah, I just do a little bit of stretching. I'm actually really inflexible and got like the tightest hammies ever. So
So
I
can you
need
touch,
to,
Can you
really
touch
great.
your toes?
Oh no, I'm the sit and reach test.
Yeah,
I'm
negative.
-25.
Mate. That's like,
It's
so like your
really
feet are
bad.
in the box.
My feet in the box.
Can you
I
get to the
can't
box?
touch the box. And the box is like negative. The box is negative
Yeah, I was
15.
going to say the box gives you some.
Negative 15, so I can't even reach the box. And I can't even, don't know, I just guess it's about 10 centimetres between the box and my hand.
So is that one of your goals? Increase your
Yeah.
flexibility?
How does
like-
that go with kicking?
Yeah.
You guys tear a hamstring every time.
Yeah. I don't know. It hurts sometimes.
You're doing
But-
like the short kicks just always? Just the
Yeah.
little...
Oh, I don't mind the long kicks because you sort of jump it through it and it's, it's nice. But my knee's bent when I'm kicking, so.
Is game day prep / superstitions? I don't know if you're a superstitious gal. Are you? I don't know. Do you have any game day like superstitions? Like I like to have a coffee and a nap on game day. They're like my two go-to things.
What if it's in the morning?
What if it's in the morning?
Yeah,
I'll
you
have
just-
it later
is-
sleepy. Like I
Yeah,
try and
is your-
balance the
is your
coffee and the
sleepy
nap.
nap.
Like it's got to be there. Sleepy nap's got to be somewhere in the day. Do you have the same prep for footy and netball, or is it slightly different?
Oh, yeah. I think footy I probably eat a bit more, as in terms of carbs and stuff, because you're running a bit more. And I'll have gels and stuff for footy, but netball I'm like, oh, it's not that long, it's okay. But I always make sure I fake tan, as you know.
Look good, feel good. Tell us about a ribbon. Do you rock the ribbon?
I
Game
love
day
a ribbon. I love a big yellow
Bit
ribbon.
of femininity.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, 100%.
And zinc. I saw you wearing zinc on a nighttime game once. Is that a
Yeah,
superstitious?
no, because it was light when we were warming up, so then I got confused because it went dark.
And do you strap your ankles? That's the other thing. Because
Yeah.
as a netballer, you always strap like every
Yeah,
single
you have
session.
Did you guys
strap.
learn how to tape?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you tape your own
AIS
ankles.
Yeah, AIS was so cheap that they all, like, when we first got there, when we were living there, they spent like a week teaching us how to tape our ankles because they're just like,
I've sort
Why
of
would
just
we
picked
do
it up.
it?
I just picked it up.
Yeah.
Like, I make it up to 6,
you don't even
9,
anchor.
friggin'.
yeah.
Oh,
Sixes.
whatever it is. Do a heel lock.
Heel lock.
So do you have strappers, like training
We
strappers?
have trainers, but I don't do it for footy.
Why not?
No, I just don't do it because I've only done it for netball because we got told to. Yeah.
But you're still changing direction.
I
in
know,
footy
but like
and-
sometimes I feel like if I'm kicking, it like restricts my foot, so I just don't do it for
Oh,
footy.
that's probably fair.
Yeah, but netball, it's like a lot more.
I was going to say,
change
I didn't
direction.
tape my ankles when I was at Eagles, and then I broke my ankle.
Yeah, right.
So
Okay,
There
let's
you
touch
go.
wood then.
you're not like me, though. I slipped over in the wet.
What's travelling like with footy? Because a little birdie told me that you stayed at the Como when you were in Melbourne not that long ago.
Yeah.
Netball, you share a room. Like you
Yeah.
get no personal space whatsoever. Is it different for footy?
Oh my god, it was like I had a suite, like big king bed, had a bath, this massive hallway, like it was unreal. And
Just to
comparing it
yourself?
just to myself. Kitchen, like 4 lounges. Mine was actually quite a fancy room to other people, but I don't know how I got that.
Why did you get the fancy room? What did you do?
But then netball, it's like you got the tiniest room, like you might have one single each, and
Yeah.
like you're stuck with that. Or we were at Fever Reserves, and our beds. It was 2
like
singles
touching?
pushed together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
No
like,
way.
and
Yeah.
then Sue's got really angry.
Seriously.
Really?
At some tournaments, I would like roll over in the middle of the night and hit the person in the bed next to me because they were so
Oh,
close.
they'd complain because I pulled the rugs off them.
See, we share rooms, but like money in basketball in America is like insane. So they'll like give you like the same thing, like a suite. There'll be like a bath.
So when you
TV.
travelled even for college, did you have like your own room and stuff?
Yeah, we had a private jet.
No way. What?
Yeah.
You had a private
For
jet.
college.
Yeah. There's big money in college.
Oh my god, did that make travel so much easier for you?
Yeah, so it's like they'd
my
give us the
God.
private jet when we were in school. So like when it's like, so you play basketball, like you do like 2 months like outside of school, like you'll be in like the Christmas break, and then when you get back into school, they don't want you missing too much class. So they just fly you out on the private jet and then fly you
Just
back
the team.
that night, yeah.
That is
And they have
awesome.
snacks on there.
Of course they do.
Yummy snacks.
Yeah, like all like the real American like snacks, you know. Like,
Oh.
I love American
Imagine
food.
that.
I love American
I
candy.
do love it.
Reese's Pieces, delicious.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's the best.
I am not shocked about their obesity rate with how good their food is. That's what I'm saying, how good their food is. So if I lived over there as a little kid, best believe I probably wouldn't be an athlete. But in the whole store.
If you think that the Fremantle Dockers Next Generation Academy is only about footy, think again. It's also about giving young people the opportunity to realise there is the possibility to be great on and off the field. It's about helping young players develop and grow, and as the official NGA partner, Woodside is supporting this dream from grassroots to greatness. Growing Freo's pool of talent to feed the AFLW and AFL, and always cheering our next generation on. Woodside Energy, supporting local footy. What does Georgie Cleaver do for fun away from sport? Because I understand sport is a huge part of your life. Your family, obviously, like, tell us about your mum getting on TikTok with you. Is that
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
is
yeah,
that
great
something that you
dances.
do
Because we have to stalk you before we get in there. Yeah,
we love a good stalk. But what do you do outside of sport, I guess, to try and stay sane?
Other than making TikToks, no. I love the beach. Like, especially now, I'm just there every day, even if it's just hop in, hop out. Take some friends. Acai bowls. Love. Oh my God. Like,
They're just getting so expensive, guys.
You can make them at
some of
home.
them are like $18.
That's what I'm saying. Have you had one recently?
Have
The
you
one
had
at
acai
Kent-
slow?
Oh.
It's like
No.
almost soft serve version of it, and it's
oh,
just
that,
like,
they've got that at Yochi.
Yes,
oh my
yes.
God,
Oh, wait,
it's
what's
so
the hype
good.
behind Yochi? Not to.
I don't know.
There's lines
I
out
refuse
the
to wait
door.
line.
love Yochi. I
No,
go
you're
there
the problem.
once a week.
It's the youth.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to really throw one of your teammates under the bus because we've met a few of them now. Jess Hosking, she's a wild ride, that one. She played some recorder with her nose with us. Verity, obviously, ex-Netty. Do you gravitate towards her or like who are kind of the ones in your team that are a bit of a laugh?
Yeah, I'd say Hosco. Me and Hosco actually, probably like 2 months ago, she was just messaged me. She was like, hey, just got some tickets to a comedian show. Let's just go. And it was the funniest night. Like, I can't remember who the bloke was, but it just laughs the whole time. Like that was the perfect person to go with. She was like, I didn't know who to ask, but it was like, I knew you love it. And I was like, hell yeah, I did.
Excuse me, what about Tones and I? Like, how does she know everyone?
How random.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I don't know how she got. She went to the concert, and then next minute she's like at the training. I was like, did you message her or like so random?
Yeah, hey, Tones, I
hey,
know
do you
you're
just
in
want to
Perth.
rock up to our training?
I was like, I
come
can
down
imagine if
here.
you're Fremantle Dockers girls, like, what is this? Like, who can we get to come down to training?
We were standing in the circle. She goes, turn around, and then everyone's like, who the is that?
Yeah, how do you recognise Tones and I?
I had no
Unless she
idea.
starts doing the dance for me in the weird
Her
voice.
voice is so high.
That's what I'm
pitched.
saying.
I get
But
that
she
because-
doesn't speak like that.
Oh, really?
So weird. I was like, that's not her. Like, she spoke like a bit deeper.
I wanted, because it was funny, the video I was watching, I was like, these girls have no idea who this is.
Wait,
Because you guys turn around and you're like,
But I think as well, in a team where there's so many different ages, you guys probably all listen to different music anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, if Luke Combs walked in, like, some of you guys are like, oh my God.
and we do love
would be-
country.
Yeah, and other people are like,
Country's
I wouldn't recognise him, to be
in.
honest. But, like,
Really?
I could imagine, like, it would be
but
hit
it's
or
some of
miss
those,
with some of these artists.
some of those artists, if they came in, you probably wouldn't recognise them. And they just have to sing a tune. I'd be like,
Yeah. Oh, now I know who you are.
yes.
Is that your voice?
yes, very good.
So you've got the private jet in America. Like, surely you've got stars coming to training all the time to hang out with you guys. Like,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
your, like, star factor? Name drop.
There we
Just do it. Yeah.
Steph Curry.
What did he come to training?
What did he
He
sing?
like?
Yeah.
He rocked on
Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Like, Tones and I? And it's just Steph. I was like,
I want to talk.
Sing. Well, he's a graduate. So he's he's a Davidson boy. So we had his
sick.
graduation last year. And so he came in, did a training session and stuff like that.
Was he good?
Yeah. Oh, he's insane.
Is he tall?
No, he's only like 6'2". But like, like someone like comes
like
in
6'2".
and in basketball it's like everyone like relative to that age can like shoot. And like if you're in college in Division 1, like you can shoot. This guy. Like he like walked in, you're like, oh, okay, like it's Steph, he's like the best shooter in the world. And he did like an underarm like from like the like foul line and it went in. And in my head I was like, that could have been a fluke. But then I'm like, it's probably not with him.
No.
I've seen those videos this halftime.
Yeah, he does it all the time. So that he had like an insane workout. And he just like wouldn't miss and he was shooting like from half court.
Right.
It was when I
Because,
knew
do you
I
know
was-
what?
That's crazy.
He would
Yeah,
do
no, he's
an
insane.
insane amount of practice. Like, yes, there's natural talent, but practice comes into it. What have you had to sacrifice to be able to do two sports? Because it's not like you're just doing one. Like, you must have to make more sacrifices than your average person to be able to do both. What's kind of been something that you've left behind?
Probably school friends. So at school, I would obviously train before, then go to school, train after. So sometimes in class I'd be dozing off a little bit because I was so tired from the morning. Hadn't got my nap in. Recess, lunch.
Yeah. She's just at lunch. No one's seen her. She's just in Ram.
That's literally it. Recess, lunch. I'd have my friend group and I'd be like, oh, hey, sorry, can't sit with you guys again. Got to study.
Yep.
I'd study recess, lunch, after school. Sometimes I'd leave early to get to training or something. Or I'd leave early anyway because I didn't really like school. But I was still doing ATAR, so I still had to do
you did ATAR?
Yeah. Only 4 subjects, so it wasn't too bad. But
okay, guys. Nice.
They're the minimum. But I'd be studying all the time and then would never ever catch up with anyone because I was just don't have time for you. All they used to do is go to school. They never did ATAR. They just party on the weekends. And I
was about to say, I lost a lot of school friends purely because, hey, let's go out tonight. I've got netball. And then once you do that to them 3 or 4 times.
Why would they invite
Exactly.
you?
They don't ask you ever again.
Yeah.
I thought sport was really good. The amount of times I lied to people, when I was younger, I used to be I get alcohol tested. So I could come.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And then I know. So they're like, oh, for sure. Yeah, no,
I was you needed an excuse to say to them.
Yeah.
The best one was, because I'm a bit old, I got my licence in August, so I was I'm driving.
Nice.
But I would never even go to the parties anyway.
Unfortunately, I've missed friends' weddings. I've obviously missed a billion parties, birthdays, things like that. But when I look at, a Commonwealth Games gold medal or something like that, I never look back and go, oh man, I wish I was out partying with my friends instead.
That 17-year-old party.
You do what you do, so you can do stuff that other people can't do. Exactly. Is that what kind of motivates you? Because it is hard sometimes having to say no all the time, even to your family.
Yeah. I think family probably more supportive than friends, but yeah, especially the friends that I feel like I couldn't have a friend now that doesn't play sport. I just feel like we have so different goals, different motivations. So it's what would you even talk about? But I think making friends in sport, it's they understand you and obviously making sacrifice. You don't regret anything. You see your medals and your jerseys and stuff. You're like, shit, I did that,
And just the opportunity to do stuff that no one else has done. Your schoolmates aren't going to Fiji and then coming back 2 days later and making their debut for West Coast Eagles.
Exactly.
You're doing some pretty incredible things and we're so proud of you. I love watching you running around in the blue and gold. My netball heart beats so much faster when I see you, especially that ribbon in your hair and fake tan. So
you're one of them.
We're super proud. Keep cross-coding it for as long as you can because you're doing a bloody awesome job and we can't wait to see you run out to the field next. And thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for joining us today. Remember, you can get all your AFLW news by grabbing a copy of The West Australian, or you can jump online at thewest.com.au. To watch this episode in full, jump on to YouTube Music and make sure you follow us or hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And please leave us a rating, or you can even email us at dubya@wanews.com.au. We will catch you next week. Thanks again for joining. This podcast is brought to you by Woodside Energy, helping young players develop and grow as the official sponsor of the Fremantle Dockers Next Generation Academy. Woodside Energy, supporting local footy.